Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at one of the absolute most dramatically charged moments in epic history today. You know the setup. The Pandavas have just been robbed of their kingdom, their wealth, all through completely foul means. They've been defeated at dice, and they're being banished into exile. Now, on the surface, this looks like the ultimate defeat. The bad guys won, the good guys are being cast out into the woods. But when we look a bit closer at the source text, a totally different story unfolds. We're going to break down the anatomy of a doomed victory and see exactly how the so-called losers in this scenario are actually entirely in control of their destiny. So to really grasp the true dynamic of this exile, we have to look at the mindset of the Pandavas as they're leaving Hastinapura, because they are not leaving as broken, humiliated victims. No way. As this quote from King Yudhishthira reveals, they are incredibly powerful beings who are actively choosing restraint. Yudhishthira is so filled with righteous wrath that he literally covers his face. He actually believes that if he were to just open his eyes, his anger would physically burn the people of the city. He hasn't deviated from the path of virtue. He is deliberately holding back an immense destructive power. All right, moving to Section 1, the March of the Exiles, decoding the body language of revenge. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this whole sequence kicks off. The blind king, Dhritarashtra, is incredibly nervous. I mean, he knows his sons just did something terrible by stealing the kingdom. So he asks his wise brother Vidura to describe exactly how the exiles are walking away. What are they wearing? What are they doing? Notice how every single physical action from the brothers is actually a terrifying promise to their enemies. Yudhishthira, like we just talked about, covers his face to contain that burning wrath. But look at the mighty Bhima. He's marching away, repeatedly stretching his massive arms. He is proudly exhibiting his unmatched physical strength, basically signaling that he's eager to perform deeds worthy of those arms against his foes in the future. And then there's Arjuna, the ultimate archer. He is just walking along casually, scattering grains of sand. Vidura explains that this is totally symbolic. Just as easily as he's dropping these grains of sand today, he's going to effortlessly rain down countless arrows upon his enemies. They aren't retreating, right? They are preparing. And it continues with the younger twins and their priest, who are sending equally powerful messages. Sahadeva smears his face. He wants to hide his identity during this time of trouble. Nakula, who is famously known as the handsomest of men, intentionally stains himself with dust so he doesn't accidentally steal the hearts of any ladies who might look at him. They are stripping away all their royal comforts and vanities. But the absolute most chilling detail here is their priest, Dhaumya. He leads the way holding kusagrass pointing southwest. Now, southwest is the direction of death, and while he's doing this, he's singing these awful mantras of the Samaveda that relate to Yama, the god of death. He is actively rehearsing the death rites that he will sing when the Bharatas are slain in the inevitable war. Just incredible psychological warfare. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer weight of Draupadi's departure. She is leaving in utter distress, weeping, her hair completely disheveled, and wearing only a single stained piece of cloth. But her appearance isn't just a sign of her current suffering. It is a dark, inescapable prophecy. By leaving in the specific state, she's making a physical promise. On the 14th year from now, the wives of the men who did this to her will be reduced to this exact same plight. They will be widows, weeping, smeared with blood, hair disheveled, offering oblations of water to their dead husbands and sons. She is essentially forcing the victors to look at their own future widows. Which brings us to Section 2, Omens of Impending Doom. The universe reacts. Because it's not just the human exiles who are promising destruction here. As they march out of Hastinapura, the natural and supernatural worlds completely reject this unjust banishment. Look at this terrifying list of portents happening as they depart. The sky flashes with lightning, and there aren't even any clouds. The earth physically begins to tremble under their feet. The text describes Rahu devouring the sun, meaning a solar eclipse is happening completely out of cycle. Meteors fall to the right of the city, and from the temples of the gods and the tops of sacred trees, carnivorous beasts like jackals, vultures, and ravens just start shrieking and crying aloud. The citizens of the city are grieving, shouting that they're now masterless, and nature itself is literally screaming that an absolute calamity has just been set in motion by the greedy Kaurava elders. And if the trembling earth wasn't enough to freak them out, the supernatural steps right in to the Kaurava assembly. Right before the eyes of everyone, a celestial Rishi, this divine surpassing sage adorned with Vedic grace, suddenly materializes. And he doesn't offer advice or try to mediate. He utters a terrible, inescapable prophecy directly to the supposed winners of the dice game, cementing their fate, before disappearing right back into the skies. This Rishi gives them the exact timeline of their destruction. Years 1 through 12 will be spent in the woods. Year 13 is for practicing the brahmacharya mode of life, so a period of strict discipline and total restraint. And then, the 14th year. That is when the Kauravas will be utterly destroyed by the might of Bhima and Arjuna, all as a direct consequence of Duryodhana's fault. Do you see how this transforms the exile? It's no longer a punishment. It is literally a 13-year incubation period for vengeance. Let's head into Section 3, the hollow victory, the teacher's realization. So the crucial point is, with the earth shaking and a celestial sage guaranteeing their death, the triumphant Kauravas, Duryodhana, Karna, Sakuni, they suddenly realize what they've done. Their victory just evaporates instantly. In a state of pure panic, they run to their preceptor, the great warrior and teacher, Drona. They offer him the entire kingdom, begging him to be their sole refuge. The irony here is absolutely incredible. On one hand, you have the exiled Pandavas. They are destitute, covered in dust, weeping, stripped of all material wealth, yet they are in total control of their destiny, calmly preparing for their promised victory. On the other hand, you have the victorious Kauravas. They are sitting on the throne, they hold all the wealth in the entire kingdom, but they are absolutely terrified, frantically begging their teacher to save their lives. The winners have literally become the prisoners of their own actions. Now, Drona does accept their plea for protection, stating that destiny is supreme and he can't just abandon them. But he completely shatters whatever remaining comfort they might have had by revealing his own great fear. He reminds them that the Pandavas' brother-in-law is Dhrishtadyumna. See, Drona had previously robbed King Drupada of his kingdom, and in response, Drupada performed a massive sacrifice. From that sacrificial fire, Dhrishtadyumna was born, fully encased in armor, bow in hand, specifically destined to slay Drona. Drona bluntly tells the Kauravas, "I am a being that is mortal." He knows for a fact that when that 14th year comes, he will lose his life. Let's move to Natas and see how this builds into one of the most striking metaphors in the text. Drona looks at the victorious Duryodhana and delivers this chilling reality check. He says, "Think not that everything hath been accomplished by sending the Pandavas into exile. This thy happiness will last for but a moment, even as in winter the shadow of the top of the palm tree resteth at its base." Wow. He tells them to go ahead, perform your sacrifices, enjoy your wealth, give away whatever you like right now, because a great calamity is rushing straight towards you. Their victory is nothing but a fleeting winter shadow. Section 4. The King's Futile Regret. Too little, too late. So, hearing Drona, the absolute greatest warrior in the kingdom, validate these terrifying omens, and explicitly confirm that destruction is inevitable, King Dhritarashtra finally breaks. The blind king realizes the catastrophic mistake he has allowed his sons to make by indulging their greed. He instantly initiates a desperate panic plan. Step 1, he orders Vidura to go and bring the Pandavas back immediately. Step 2, he realizes they probably won't come back because they are bound by their promise, so he tells Vidura that if they refuse, he must send them off treated with massive respect and affection. He wants to send his exiled nephews off with weapons, chariots, infantry, every other good thing. He is frantically trying to throw money, gifts, and military support at the people he just allowed to be robbed, hoping it will somehow just cancel out the prophecy. But as we've seen throughout this explainer, the die has already been cast, which leaves us with this really powerful question. When the universe itself promises your destruction, when the earth shakes, the sun is eclipsed, and the victims are already rehearsing your death rites, is any apology or amount of wealth ever going to be enough to stop it? This matters because it completely reframes how we think about power and psychological control. A hollow victory, whether it's in an ancient epic or in our own lives, is always defeated by the weight of its own consequences. The source text brilliantly shows us that a kingdom built on pure avarice and deceit is doomed the very moment it claims victory. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the text, and I really hope this changes how you view the true balance of power in this epic tale.